Have you been praying every night that Pete Parsons gets canned? Well, your prayers have been answered, and no matter what the circumstance was, whether it was Sony pressuring him to leave, or other CEOs or CFOs or whatever at Bungie telling him it's time, your name is synonymous with auctioning sports cars and spending thousands of dollars on them, as well as going back to that story and the fact that he was flaunting his car while employees were talking about how they were struggling to buy groceries. What a fantastic boss you are. Oh yes, Dev, I hear you are struggling to buy basic necessity. Let me talk about something that is completely unnecessary and totally not sympathize with you at all. That's cool. Point is, Parsons was seemingly not a good person. I mean, I don't actually know him. Not that I want to know him, but one can assume, based on these stories, that, yeah, he's probably not a great person. And I don't know about you, but I really haven't heard about him working on anything groundbreaking at Bungie for Destiny or Marathon, which is crazy, right? You'd think someone who's so high up on the food chain and has been there for so long would be doing something actively to keep that position instead of just being there, right? Existing within the confines of Bungie. And he hasn't. So, yeah, get rid of him. He's not contributing anything that we know of. And if he is, prove me wrong. Please tell me someone at Bungie or someone who doesn't work at Bungie who thinks they know what's going on. And I know the irony in that statement, like I don't know for real what Parsons is doing, but again, he's not writing stuff in the twids. He's not active with the community. He's not a part of the community as we know it. He's just a part of Bungie, which is something different. And good riddance, right? And he's been replaced with, wait, no, this can't be right. Truman? Justin Truman? Okay, so there are two people at Bungie that we don't like the most because they are just the billboard for the current Bungie that we know that puts greed over everything else. And Justin Truman is known for the GDC conference that he gave, talking about how you want to value velocity over certain other things. You want to put out more content instead of making sure that content is good. You want to make sure you're not over-delivering because you're sending signals to your player base that you're going to have to match in future releases. Now, in his statement that he released after the news broke and it became official, his public statement talking about how he's, the new studio head, he did mention over-delivering, which is interesting, and sort of hinted that maybe, just maybe, he's changed his perspective on it, and we're going to see some over-delivery in the future. Now, if you've learned anything from being a Bungie fan, if you're watching this, or if you follow Destiny at all, you know that we've heard stuff like this in the past. We've heard, doubling back on certain things that have been said in the past. The we're listening twids where, they're trying to fix stuff. Some stuff does get fixed, other things get worse. We're seeing that with the current power grind and solo ops and the Caldera mines with the twid that just came out. I'm going to make a separate video on that because there's a lot to unpack in this week's twid on top of the changing of the studio heads at Bungie as well. But, the cycle repeats itself, right? And who knows if Truman will actually break that cycle or if he will just continue the status quo, right? Which is to bulk up the Eververse store and just pump out content no matter what the quality is, right? Players will still play it. You'll have your retention, your weekly metrics, and so on. Or again, will we see change? Will we actually have good content come out? Will the power grind be fixed? Will it be a little bit faster, not a ton faster, but also more enjoyable with plenty of stuff that you can do to increase your power that, isn't just Caldera, right? That's the most efficient, it's the fastest, everything else is throwing, right? You're not going to guarantee get your primes, you're not going to get them as fast, and that's the current issue with the game, the biggest issue with the game, I would say, but certainly not the only issue. In the short term, this is probably going to do nothing. which is why the tone of this video is mostly pessimistic, even though I try to lean on the optimistic side. There isn't really anything to be optimistic about, except the fact that maybe Sony isn't going to be that generous with Justin Truman's leash. They're going to keep it very short, and, you know, he might not have too much time to turn things around, which, you know, I'm okay with, because when people ask for a change of leadership, and when I think of a change of leadership, I don't just think you should be cycling Pete Parsons out for someone below him and then continue that trend where you're recycling people who've been a part of Bungie's leadership for a long time. We want to see someone completely new, maybe even from the outside, someone from Sony, or just maybe even a dev who knows what devs need to get it done. And that way we have a new, completely new and different objective style of leadership, which really is what it seems like the game needs. At least that's what I think it needs. Of course, what I think and what it actually needs might be different, but that's my opinion. Aside from that, it's good to finally see the right people losing their jobs, because if you are the captain of the ship and it crashes multiple times and you still are in charge of piloting that ship, you probably shouldn't be doing that. And again, we've finally seen some accountability in the form of losing their job, even though from the outside, yes, it does look like he's retiring, maybe getting a very large severance package to coerce him to quit a little bit faster and a little bit more amicably. But regardless of how it got done, it's done. And again, with most of these changes and how Destiny as a live service game works, it's probably going to take some time to notice anything, if anything changes at all. Because again, Pete Parsons wasn't really doing much for the game to begin with, except giving Bungie horrible optics. And Justin Truman has been doing that for years already. So again, don't hold your breath. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.